What's up, guys? ¿Qué tal, amigos? Les habla Obi Rosales right here from Eleva, streaming from the Co-Create Innovation Hub here at Town Square Studios. We have a wonderful guest tonight. You can't miss this one. You guys are going to discover what's going on here with this lovely individual. And today I have the founder and publisher of the Russellville Connection. I know that a lot of you guys got it in the mail because we got text messages and we got a whole bunch of cool things happening because my family was featured on the coverage. So I called her up and like, Kalina, you have to come. And now we're going to put you on the spot, you know? So we have Kalina Perez in the house. Welcome. Thank you for coming. You know, Perez, right? With the Z, you know, but Kalina Perez, thank you for coming out today. And let's dig into what you're all about and what you're bringing to the community. So welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. It took some work getting me here. I know.
I know. Well, kind of vice versa, you know, before with the magazine and everything, you know, but I think it happened in a wonderful timing. I don't know what
agree.
you think.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
So tell us a little bit about yourself. We know you as myself. We're both not originally from Russellville. Let us know a little bit about your journey out here to Russellville, and then first, how did we meet? Because we have history before the magazine and the podcast. Right. We already had met each other out there in little old downtown Russellville.
Yeah. So I, just like you, I'm originally from California. I was born and raised in Los Angeles area. So spent 20 years of my life there, then decided to move up to Northern California, spent another 20 years there. I had family that moved to Russellville about almost 20 years ago. Wow. And they've been on me since then. You know, you got to move out here. You got to get out of Cali. And I honestly, I never saw myself leaving. Told them I would never go. Fast forward to 2022, I came out with my fiance Les, half of our kids. We came to visit, and to my surprise, you know, I spent 5 days here, and I just knew that I wanted to be here, wanted something different. So went back to California, put the house up, got ready to move out here, came out here. It happened a lot faster than I expected it to. But yeah, Fall Fest 2023, we were walking around, you know, it was our first event downtown, and I was with one of my older sons, and he had his LA hat on. We saw you and your wife. You had a booth for your juices there, and my son, you know, some of the kids were really struggling to fit in. There was culture shock. Obviously, they moved here sight unseen, you know, half of them. So we were walking. He noticed your hat, and he goes, I said, oh, hey, I think it was me that brought it up. I said, hey, there's some other LA folks here. And he goes, yeah, they're probably not really from LA, right? And I go, well, let's go find out. And that's when we came to you. We tried some juices, and we got to talking, and that's where we first connected.
No, I think that's great because it was one of those things where like you and my wife exchanged numbers and then like, hey, can I get a juice? And so we had we developed a relationship like that. And I thought that was cool because you were new in town, we were new. And then you started this whole thing with the magazine. I'm like, what? Like, I was just like, not in shock, but not surprised. I could expect it because I believe that a lot of us from California are very creative also, and we have that drive, you know? So I was like, wow, she's going to start a magazine. So how long after you moved out here did you have the opportunity of the magazine, or were you already involved in something like that? Or?
So I was involved with our parent company, which is Best Virgin Media, since 2019. So my background is in medical. I worked in the medical field for almost 20 years. Wow. I met somebody who was publishing in California that, you know, introduced me to the opportunity. Took a leap of faith, left my regular 9-to-5 to launch a magazine just like this in Northern California. So I did that. I ended up launching a second magazine in the neighboring town. So I've been doing this a while. I did this before coming here. Wow. Our company, Best Virgin Media, has a huge footprint across the U.S. and in Canada, but we didn't have a single publication here in Arkansas. So I'm really proud to say that I did bring the first Best Virgin Media publication to our state.
Wow.
So I knew that I was going to do it coming in. Honestly, I expected to just show up here and hit the ground running and launch it right away. It didn't quite work out like that, right? So got settled in, went through all the culture shock. It was just a huge change for everybody in the family. So I really started working on it. So I got here July of 2023. I'd say I really started pushing it January 2024. So I took a little time to adjust to life here in Russellville. And we had our first issue by July. So it happened pretty quick. And it happened because of all of the support of the local businesses you see in the publication. They believed in me. They believed in what I was going to bring to the community. So without them, we wouldn't exist.
Wow, that's great. I think I'm very proud of you because I mean it just
Thank
happened so fast. I mean, but I think the way you present it to people and they buy into the vision. And was it hard to tap into the local market here or?
Honestly, I was kind of terrified. I was a new girl from California. I was an outsider. It's a small town.
We were like, hey, my name's Kalina Perez from California.
Don't ask
and
where
I
I'm
have
from.
this thing going on.
Yeah, I honestly thought, I didn't think people were going to be as open, with me. But I was really, really surprised. I have not come across one person that held that against me, treated me differently. Everybody was so welcoming and warm. And I think this really helped me kind of integrate into the community. It was a little hard to get it going, right? I mean, it's a hustle, right? But a lot of people believed in it and the vision.
Great.
So,
who is there someone in particular that gave you who do you remember who was your first business that was like, I'm gonna do it?
So our first sponsor was Phil Wright, and
Okay.
they're a big sponsor. So,
That's great.
They were the first.
So your first sponsor was like the biggest one.
The biggest one.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
Shout out to Phil Wright.
Yes.
Wow.
Absolutely.
And so after that, once you have them on board, was it kind of easier to get more sponsors and just fill up the whole?
Yeah. I did get a lot of referrals. So a lot of people referred me to their friends at business. So that was definitely helpful.
Okay. And then, so besides having sponsors, right, you fill up the magazine with, advertisement or whatever, you have other things in there, right? Like, you guys feature a family, local family. Is that like the strategy? It's always a family?
Always a family. So that's what kind of sets us apart from other publications. Every single month, our main, article is an individual couple or family in the community. They're always on the cover. That's what drives people to open our magazine. People genuinely care about other people, right? When they get this in the mail and they see this, when they know that this family lives where they live, where they're going to school with their kids, they're shopping at the same stores, you want to know about them, right?
Yeah.
And there's not many places that you can get all of that information. So the families definitely drives people to open the publication. I wouldn't say people are ever going to go to the magazine just to see ads. They're not.
Yeah.
They're going to go to learn about the families. We highlight community events. We have a community calendar every month. We, do articles on nonprofits, charities to help bring awareness to their efforts and what they're doing in the community. And then naturally, they're going to see all those ads, right?
Yeah.
We also allow our readers to participate in our content, which is another thing that sets us apart. So all the content in here is going to come directly from the businesses participating. We have opportunity for our industry experts to educate the community through educational articles. So they'll provide tips on their products, services, and then we'll highlight those local businesses. We really want to share their story. We don't just run their ad. We let you know how they started, how they got into what they do, what makes them special. And then for residents, they can share recipes. We get pictures of pets. We've started to get some wedding, and engagement announcements, birth announcements. So as long as it's not negative, controversial, political, this is our platform to share information with each other. So it's social media. It's just done in print, and it's done without all the negative news. Yeah, so it's
stuff.
all good news, smiling faces, and your brand.
I like that. And that's kind of one of our goals here too. Like, and I think we had talked about it. Yeah. We like to be the positive, not the negative of the side of town or the world.
There's enough of that.
Yeah, there's enough of that. We feed on it faster than positive stuff. So we decided early on to just positive, you know. And so I'm glad you do that. Another thing that captivated me a few weeks ago is that you now have a section where like young entrepreneurs can kind of place an ad, like kids or children, maybe somebody that wants to mow lawns or whatnot.
Yeah,
Tell us a little bit about that.
So we haven't quite got that rolling yet. I've got a couple coming in, but for kids in the community, if they want to make some money, whether it's babysitting, like you said, mowing lawns, walking dogs, tutoring, you know, whatever it is,
Yeah.
of course we get parents' permission, and it's typically always the parents' phone number that we're going to use.
Yeah.
But yes, we provide that platform for kids to get out and make some money, and it's trusted in our publication.
Yeah.
You know, that's not stuff you're going to go blast out online. You're not going to go to Craigslist and these Facebook groups and put your kids' ads there. But I love that it's a trusted source.
Yeah, I think that that's encouraging to like a young person because, for example, when we had that snow, not the one in January, but I think a little bit after, there was gonna be like a 2 or 3 day snow time, and my son was like, "Buy me a shovel, Dad. When this whole town is snowed in, I want to go shovel driveways." But we didn't get enough, so he was bummed out, and he was like, "Okay, change your plans." And then the tutoring came up, like, "Why don't you tutor?" And he's like, So I think that's great because it motivates young people to kind of be entrepreneurs, maybe just kind of look into that. So I think that's a great thing. That's a great thing. I mean, my daughters, they always like, "Dad, I want to sell lemonade on the corner, whatever." So, and at least at least on my end, it's getting my brain to kind of like, maybe like a little young entrepreneur event, you know, maybe here at the hub, not sure, just to kind of motivate those young kids, you know. So I think that's great.
Super important.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'll be waiting for your kids' ads then to come through.
Yeah. Well, I gotta run it over by my wife.
Of
You know what I'm
course,
saying?
of course.
So, and if anybody's watching out there, if you guys have any questions for Kalina, go ahead and put them on the comments. Go ahead and share this feed and just keep joining us these minutes that we have with you guys. So, and then so. How many families have you guys featured these last? What is it? You've been out for a year already, or?
July will be a year.
Okay.
So we do one family per month. So we just wrapped up our May issue, so almost a dozen.
Wow.
Yeah.
And how is it like with finding the family or the dynamics?
So it's all nomination based, which is fun. So it's a really interactive publication. So I'm not just running around picking people out of thin air. I listen to our readers. You know, we get nominations, so you can call me, message me on socials, email me, whatever. If you have somebody that you want to see on the cover, you nominate them. I reach out. Most people are willing. I've had a couple decline. You know, being in the spotlight isn't for everybody.
Yeah.
You called me out on that at the hub when I was doing the booth, you know, which is, I think, what got me here. You know, you told me you're always putting people in the spotlight. What about you? So, yeah, it's all nomination based.
Yeah.
So the nominations are rolling in. We've got several families lined up. So they continue to come in. We also have a Kid of the Month section that I want to mention. That, too, is nomination based.
Okay.
And that section specifically is sponsored by Heinzman & Sons.
Okay.
So we have a lot of different opportunities for businesses to participate. So you can run a standard ad in the magazine. If there's a section that you want to see come to life in the publication, the Kids Corner, for example, your company can sponsor that section, and then we have that content to share. So because of them, we get to shine a light on a young kid in the community and what they're doing. So, yeah.
That's great. That's great. And well, we were featured in April. Like you said, some people, this is not for me or whatever, but when the opportunity arose for us, I talked to my wife and I was like, you know what, babe, like, it's not about us. It's about how people can be blessed, you know, with our story or just with our energy or whatnot. So once we talked about it and everything, she was a little bit like,
I remember.
You know,
Yeah.
and I was like, babe, you know, it's not about us. Like, it's what God wants to do with us. And then, so it happened. Even with the pictures, she was like, I don't know, how am I looking? But once we got the pictures back, she was like, amazing.
Oh, good.
I think that was like the turning point. She was like, oh my God, they came out so beautiful. And then after that, it was just easy, you know, so.
Well, I think it came out great. In fact, I met with somebody yesterday, and they picked up the magazine. They said, tell me about this family. Like, we don't know this family. So I'm so happy that you guys did share your story.
Yeah, no, thank you. And I mean, it's a nice feeling. We've gotten some good comments and everything.
I was going to ask you what the response was like for you.
Well, I can tell you about my kids. My middle daughter's teacher came in and she's like, "Everybody, listen up. We have somebody that just came out of the magazine." So my daughter Juliana, everybody was like, "Oh my God!" My son was getting comments.
That's awesome.
My youngest daughter was like, "Are you the girl that came out of the magazine?" And my youngest, she's very shy. So I mean, a lot of good comments, and everything. I know. Julie here at the studio, she's like, "Oh, I read the article. It was good to know a little bit more about you." So I think it's great, and whatever we put out there is from the heart, just being who we are, and I think it's a great thing. And I think I felt that it's a great way to just kind of get us all together. We all live in the same community. We all want the best for each other, and I think it's good.
That's the point. We're helping local businesses, stay in front of the customers that are most important to them, right? Those right here in our community, while connecting everybody.
Yeah.
So
yeah, let's show the cover. I had one issue one at the house, but and I showed it last time, but I had to use the laptop because I didn't have an actual
gotcha.
copy. So here it is, the Russellville Connection. Oh, it's probably gonna be blurry, huh, Michael?
It's focused.
It's focused. Check it out, guys. You can see. One family per month out here, and we got Dr. K in here, we got Town Square, we have Rubio. So these are like what did you say they are, like the contributors?
So those are our expert contributors. So that's one program we have. With the expert contributor program, we only allow one expert per specialty or industry. So if you're looking to really connect with the community on a more intimate level, provide that education to them, have the opportunity to write articles in the magazine, you can be an expert. And like you guys are our marketing agency expert, right? So there could be another marketing agency that advertises in our publication, but you guys have the exclusivity of providing that education. And again, that's just one of the ways to participate. Going back to our kids, so my kiddo was in this issue too. I didn't even realize that our kids were in the same issue. I had him do local food review.
We kind of narrowed it down because Jasmine was like, "I think that's her son. They have the same last name."
It is. One of his friends actually was at the setup that I had at the Co-Create Hub, and I was taking nominations. So he was nominated by one of his friends.
That's great.
But I saw that the school had posted our kids.
Yeah.
And he came through the door, and I was like, "Hey, look what your school posted." And he goes, "I know." He goes, "That was so embarrassing. They announced us over the intercom."
That's what my daughter said. They announced it, but
and
my
I
daughter
just thought that
loves
was
it.
so cool that, we're getting that traction, and people, that just shows me that people truly appreciate the connections that we're making here.
And it's like, I wouldn't imagine that anywhere else. Like I'm telling you, once the issue came out, immediately we started hearing from people and good things. Thanks for putting this out there, and the kids. So I think it's overall it's like a really positive thing.
Yeah.
And that's what we need, especially nowadays, with all that toxicity out there and negative stuff. I think that we're countering it with all of this, So I think, what do they say? When you see the fruits, then it kind of gives you energy to just keep going,
Yep.
So what are your plans like for the rest of this 2025?
Well, what I want people, obviously so far, those that know me as the publisher, and I am the publisher, but I also want people to know that we're so much more than just a print publication. Unless you meet with me, you don't really know that we do have a multi-channel approach. So we have the publication that is the bread and butter of what we do, and it'll always be the heart of what we do. But we also provide help with online, business listings online, review and reputation management. We offer display ads on Meta, Facebook and Instagram, display networks like Bing and Google. So the whole idea is that we're branding your business through, a multi-channel approach. There's more to come. We're slowly rolling out, more products and services. So soon, I can't say when because I'm not sure yet, but we'll be offering websites, SEO, so search engine optimization, pay-per-click campaign. So there's a lot more coming. So I love the fact that we're going to be able to offer more to businesses here. Something that I plan on for 2025 is I'd love to start a sports section within the publication. Sports is huge here. So I'm going to be looking for sponsors to get that going, so we can, shine a light on the young athletes in our community, focus on teams as a whole, coaches, sports schedules, things like that.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, we were talking about something about like that a few days ago. Yeah, the sports community is very supportive, and I know because my son's he does track. Last season he did football. He does baseball, so I think that would be great, for him to check out who's on the magazine,
Yep.
So that's great. So I don't know. I saw someone post about another version of the magazine going to Conway. I don't know if you want to talk about that or just.
Yeah, we can definitely talk about that. So,
because I was like, what? Already going to another city?
Yeah, so I'm looking to expand. So as I mentioned, Best Virgin Media has a huge footprint. I talked about that. Russellville Connection was the first one in Arkansas. I have a colleague of mine who just launched one in Fort Smith, South Fort Smith neighbors.
Wow.
We'll be hitting mailboxes, I believe in May. It might be June, but I think it's May. And then, yes, I have someone, Bo Gum, who is working to launch in Conway.
He's a really nice guy.
Yeah, so Bo and I met, regarding his nonprofit, Arkansas Paint Project, before the Russellville Connection existed. And I remember I was sitting with him, and he just looked at me and said, "You have my dream job." And I remember that stuck with me. And so after I got this up and running, obviously, I think every community could use a magazine like this. So I reached out to him, asked him if he was interested in exploring a new opportunity. He was. So he, has been at it for a couple months. He's made some progress. So, yeah, I really hope that
now,
he gets it up and running.
Now, what he's doing out there, is he flying solo, or you oversee that, or you're collaborating with him?
I provide support to him, but he's pretty much flying solo, on his own.
Wow.
Out there.
Wow, no, that's great.
So, and I am actively looking now. I mean, I'd love to get one going in some areas of Little Rock, Jonesboro. I mean, there's several areas that we're looking at right now to recruit. So, I mean, if anybody's looking for an opportunity, like I said, the way I got into this was kind of unique. As I mentioned, my background was in medical. So my family and I, we were victims to the Tubbs fire back in 2017. Our whole neighborhood was wiped out. So, so after losing that house, we moved to a neighboring community. And it was about 2 or 3 weeks into being in my new home, and I actually started to receive a Best Virgin Media magazine. And I'm one that typically doesn't pay attention to things that come in the mail, but it caught my eye, grabbed my attention. I actually read it, and it was great to have a source of information for my new community. I ended up becoming friends with the publisher of that magazine, so she presented the opportunity to me, and it's been absolutely life-changing. I love what I do. I can't imagine doing anything else. So if anybody's looking for an opportunity, you can reach out to me, and we can talk about it.
That's great. Wow. So it just resonated with you, the whole vision, and so you've been with it since 2017. And then you say you launched in 2019.
Well, 2017 is when we lost our house in the fire.
Okay.
2018 is when we bought our new house up in Windsor. We moved from Santa Rosa to Windsor. I started getting the magazine. Like I said, I was a reader. One of my sons became best friends with a kid who turns out his mom was a publisher. And it all started with her asking me just for a little bit of help. She asked if I would help her, get meetings, set appointments with local businesses regarding sponsorship. And she expected me to absolutely hate it. She goes, "Well, you can do this, but I guarantee you after a couple days, you're not going to want to do it anymore." But I didn't hate it. I loved it. And after a couple months, she said, "You really should launch your own magazine." And at the time, I just kind of laughed it off, like, yeah, right. That just doesn't even seem like something that I would ever do. I mean, I actually had my sights set on going to nursing school. But I took a leap of faith. Like I said, I walked away from my 9 to 5, did this, and
So you've been doing it full time since then?
yeah. And actually, so the 2 publications I had in California, like I said, I fell in love with what I was doing. Obviously, with the move here, I thought about doing here, but I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure what I was stepping into. So I wasn't sure that I was going to be able to do that. I jumped online, and I did see that there was already a publication here about the River Valley. I'm sure you have heard about that one by now. So I thought, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this. Like, they've already got a publication there. I don't know how that's going to work, me stepping into this community, with another magazine, if it was going to be accepted. And I think it was shortly before I got here, that publication ended up going under. And I think that's why the community was really excited, because they had lost a publication that they loved for, I think it was 15 or 16 years. So they were thirsty for something like it to come back.
Wow.
So
you
mean,
came
it ended up
at the right time.
Yeah.
Just kind of present something new. Well, I mean, I really love it. I mean, not just because I'm seeing myself on the cover, but but I think it's great.
You really love this one.
It's my favorite one, and then it's in my birthday month. Me and my wife were just talking about it. Yeah, I said, April's your birthday month. Well, that's a blessing. That's a good gift, just to see my family on the cover and just how proud I am of all of them. So it's just a blessing for us, So I know that you're going to continue doing more. I think you're the right person for the job. I think that you just went into the community with conviction and with vision, and that's why it's been so great. So I just keep doing it,
I plan to do just that.
What did your family think about this, or how have they been, like, as far as supportive or?
It was a little scary for them, probably especially for my fiance Les, because at the time, and I couldn't have done this without him, because it meant me walking away from my guaranteed income to start my own business, right? So, but he believed in me. It was a little bit scary, but, he carried us through. There were some naysayers, some people who didn't really believe in it, but I believed in it. And then I think coming here to Russellville, I had more family that was a little more concerned that it wouldn't work out, just because, they had told me that most people here rely on word of mouth, that people don't put a whole lot into advertising here. But it's going so much better than I could have imagined, honestly.
That's great.
Yeah.
No, well, that's great that you're, is it fiance, husband?
Still a fiance. We are working on the longest engagement in history. He proposed to me right before COVID. So it's like we got engaged, and then 2 or 3 months later, everything was shut down, closed, life got hectic. And so planning a wedding was the last thing on my mind. And then now I feel like just so much as time has gone on that we need to revisit that, though.
Yeah. Well, I know there's a lot of nice places out here to do some kind of celebration. So I'm sure when it happens.
Yeah. No, there definitely is. I have to say, Arkansas is a beautiful place.
It is.
When I told everybody back home that I was moving, everybody pretty much gave me the same reaction. They kind of looked at me with this weird look, like, why Arkansas, And I just asked them, have you ever been there? And most people told me no. And I had to tell them, like, you really don't know what you're talking about. Like, if you haven't seen it, you have no idea. I think people have a different, vision of what Arkansas is in their head.
I mean, I would never have known about this place if my in-laws wouldn't have moved here, because everybody, I mean, at least me, in those days when I was younger, probably thinking about Dallas or, Florida or whatever, but our in-laws moved here, and that's how I discovered, and it's been, I mean, I always came to visit once a year, and it wasn't until we had kids that we were like, okay, we got to make some moves, Same like you, we came 2022 visit July, and we were here the next month.
Oh, so it happened faster for you.
Yeah, it's because I had, it had been years for me to I got to take a leap of faith, get out of LA, etc. And we just did it, we did it, and we're here. And, I can say God's been with us, and we've been here, and you know, we can't wait to see what's the next chapter in our family, you know. So we're happy. And I love all of this, you know, the networking and the community and just being part of it.
You know, I definitely want to touch on that. So, born and raised in California, spent 20 years in one place, 20 years in another. I've only been here a year and a half, and the sense of connection and community that I have here and that I feel here, I never had in all my time in California. It's pretty amazing. You know, that Southern hospitality, that's a real thing. And it's something my kids noticed almost immediately. I mean, we didn't even make it out of the airport in Little Rock before they were looking up. And they asked me, why is everybody so nice here? You know, and I was like, just enjoy it. Just embrace it. It's definitely a different
yeah, and
world.
I think it's our job to keep it that way. You know, just, hey, slow pace, be happy. I mean, in this town is the first place that people waved at me. And I'm like jogging and I'm walking and then, hi. And I'm like, what?
Yeah. Do
I'm
I
not
know
getting
you?
the middle finger? Okay, that's one. And then I'm at the stop sign and then we're laughing about it. You know, you go, I go. You know, and I had never had experienced that because, you know, from where I come from, it was just fast paced, get out of my way.
People don't really pay attention to those around them. They're just, like you said, go, go, go. Yeah, so it's pretty incredible. There's things that I miss about home. I miss the ocean, right? Some of the food, but I'm still finding great spots here. It's just taking a little time, right? But just the people and the culture. I mean, it's
well, I
a beautiful
mean,
thing.
You're not gonna believe me, but I still haven't gone to Brick Oven Pizza.
You need to go.
I don't know if you can. So I mean, it's a small town. Maybe because I'm just simple. I just go to my 2 to 3 places, but. I mean, even at that, I still have to go to at least a handful of places.
Well, if you read Dylan's review, Brick Oven is his favorite pizza place. So,
and maybe that's where I remember because I kind of scanned through it, and then I think by the end, Brick Oven. Oh, that's right, I gotta go to Brick Oven.
Yeah, so we go there all the time.
What do you suggest? What pizza do you suggest from there, or entree?
We just get the veggie pizza. I love the chicken spaghetti. So it's chicken spaghetti. It's got some jalapenos in it, some spice to it. That's pretty good.
I like jalapenos, but I love pepperoni and sausages and stuff. I don't know. I might just... like I said, I've never been, but I need to try it pretty soon.
You do.
So, all right. Well, I don't know if there's anything else you want to add about what you're doing, about the magazine, before we close up. I always ask the guests if they can just give a message to anybody watching. It could be anything, usually, you know, measures of hope, or if they want to start something or whatever. Because I believe when people see you doing it and you give them some message, like somebody's going to listen to it and maybe plant a little seed in their heart. And maybe years later, I remember when Kalina said that, and now I'm this, I did that, you know. So the stage is yours, whatever you want to say.
I mean, I would just... encourage anybody watching, like if you have a dream that you want to go for, don't hold yourself back. You know, take that leap of faith, go for it. You might surprise yourself, right? And for those watching, if you have, you know, I'd love nominations. If there's a kid in the community that you want to see featured, a family, an individual, send them my way. Let's share their story. Even if it's your own family and you want to participate, let me know. If you're a local business and you're struggling to get exposure, you know, I'd love to talk to you. Something I do want to share is when I reach out to businesses, a lot of people, they say, well, I don't think it's going to be a good fit and I don't want to waste your time. I want every business to know that I don't ever look at any meeting I have with anybody as a waste of time, because whether we're a good fit for, you know, this marketing or not, I still think it's important that us as business owners and just members of the community, we meet, we learn about each other, we shake hands, because if this is not a good fit, we could still be a really good referral source for each other. So I'd love to just meet with any and everybody for that reason. I love connecting people in the community. Again, whether we're working together or not, I think we can really help each other out that way. Yeah, I think
that's great.
That covers it.
No, that's great. I think that it just shows why you've been very successful this past year. So Where can people watching get in touch with you? You have a number, the Facebook.
So yeah, it's California
You could
number
talk to
still, but it's 707-291-7001. That's my cell phone number. You can find me on Facebook at the Russellville Connection. I do have a link to our website there. It is bestvirginmedia.com/the Russellville Connection. That's a lot to remember. It's easier just to go to the Facebook page and click the link there. Those are the ways you can find me. And if you haven't followed us on Facebook yet, please do.
Awesome. Okay, you brought how many copies? Because
Do you
my
need more?
my youngest is asking me this whole week. My friend wants a copy.
Okay.
So I think I could take this one, but
Okay. Do you want an extra one too?
sure.
Okay.
Yeah. So get in touch with Kalina, guys. Thank you for coming today and
Of course,
sharing a
thank
little
you
bit
for
what
having
you've been.
me. I know it took
Anytime.
some time, but I'm really glad that I did it.
No, I'm glad
I
you
had to
came.
step out of my comfort zone, and I think that's important too. If we're not stepping out of our comfort zone, we're not growing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, well, thank you for coming, and you're welcome anytime. And I'm glad that we're part of this community together. And you guys, thank you for watching and supporting Eleva, Level Up, Town Square. We're very proud of living in this community, and thank you for joining us today. Remember that we're here just to kind of encourage, throw some good, positive vibes and good stories out here. So thank you for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.